Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're here with a very exciting announcement, and that is that I'm hosting a readathon with one of my closest booktube friends, and that is Em from alittlewriterem. I speak a lot about her on my channel because one, I absolutely love her, and two, we have really similar tastes in reading, so I always get great recommendations from her. So when we did the collaboration where we read each other's favourite books and kind of tested out how much of a similar reading taste we actually had, Em then came up with the idea of hosting a mini readathon called the Recommendations Readathon, where we help recommend books to you guys to read for a weekend. So let's break down what the readathon will entail. The readathon will be hosted between all day Friday of the 29th of January all the way through to midnight on a Sunday the 31st of January. I'll put the dates on the screen for you guys now. We thought, as a pick-me-up with the UK having gone into our third lockdown, I think it is, not really having an end to it. We think it's going to be like mid-February, early March time that we're going to have like a release of this lockdown, but it's getting us quite down, to be fair. So we thought hosting this readathon and becoming a little community for a while would be really nice. So we're just doing a weekend long readathon where we can recommend books to each other and just kind of celebrate a community of books and reading. So I'm really excited to host it with Em. I think it's gonna be really fun. So it's going to be hosted obviously from Friday the 29th of January all the way through to Sunday the 31st of January, whatever time zone you are in. We're going to kick off the readathon with a live reading sprint over on my channel on Friday evening at 8 p.m, which is really exciting because one of my 2021 goals was to host a live show. So it's really cool that it's actually happening in the first month of the year. Very exciting. I'm just so excited for this readathon in general. It was so nice for Em to suggest the idea and ask me to help her collab with it. So very excited in general. But yes, the live show will be hosted on my channel Friday the 29th of January at 8 p.m. So come read with us and kick off the readathon in a really fun kind of community social way. We'll do a bit of reading for like half hour and then we'll chat for like 15 minutes, recommend books to each other, just have a general chit chat about how you are and what you're reading. So that's gonna be really fun. So that'll be on Friday on my channel, and kind of this is a really relaxed readathon, so don't put pressure on yourself. It is only 3 days. I'm only putting 2 books on my TBR and probably will only ever get to 1. But it's going to be a really relaxed readathon. We've kind of come up with a few places you can get recommendations from, and these are only suggestions. They're not prompts to complete. You don't need to tick any boxes. They're just purely suggestions. The first one is, of course, we're going to be setting up a Discord channel where you can kind of talk to us and get some recommendations from us, which is really exciting. I'm kind of nervous because what if I recommend you guys a bad book? But I really hope I don't. So basically on Discord you can be like, I want a YA that's quick to read, that kind of hits certain topics, and we will try and recommend you a book that you could possibly read. Obviously that can be, I think the Discord, Em's going to set up the Discord and it's going to be live as soon as this video goes live. So if you want to start getting recommendations now, head over there and ask us, or easily you can DM us on social media. I'm highly active on Twitter and Instagram, linked here and as well as in the description, or you can just comment on this video for recommendations. So that's the first place you can get recommendations. The second place you can get recommendations is within books themselves, which I think is a really fun one because I know I haven't read it myself, but Sally Rooney's Normal People features a lot of books. So you can take a book from a book. You can take a book from a book. Yeah, if a book has discussed a certain book, you can read that book. That is a recommendation. You can just head over to this wonderful community called BookTube and just get your favourite BookTube's favourite book, or a favourite book of theirs from 2020, or just a book they've recommended, or a book that's highly hyped on BookTube. That is a recommendation. You can also head over to book bloggers, Bookstagram, Book Twitter, any place where the book community is active. You can get recommendations from there if you don't feel like asking us. You can also go to your friends and family. I started my channel because I don't really know anyone in my personal life that reads books as much as me, so I've never been able to get book recommendations from my friends and family. The only person who kind of reads is my dad, but he's very sci-fi fantasy based. I am not. So I always come to BookTube and Bookstagram and Book Twitter and stuff for book recommendations. But if you have a reader in your family or one of your close friends is a reader, get a recommendation from them. And if you don't feel like asking us but you still want to be recommended a book by us, I'm going to talk about a few of my favourite books that I don't kind of talk about as much on my channel as I would like. The first one being 5 Years From Now by Paige Toon. I absolutely adore this book. I read it in 2019. This book basically follows 2 characters called Nell and Van. I haven't read it in a while. And basically they come together when their parents fall in love, so they're kind of forced together. My white balance has gone weird from this book, so I'm going to put it down. When they get separated later on in life, they kind of, every so often, fate brings them together every 5 years, and you kind of see them from when they're like 5 years old all the way up to when they're 40, and it's a really like beautiful story, not only about friendship but about love and family and blended families, and I absolutely adored this book. It's told from both perspectives, if I can remember correctly, and I just absolutely love this book. It is one of my favourite contemporaries and definitely one of my favourite page toon books. Highly recommend checking this one out. As you know, a readathon, no matter how chill you want it to be, sometimes there is a little bit of pressure and you want to get one book under your belt. So I'm going to recommend a YA book that took me no time at all to read, and that is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This is a book written in verse, hence the quick speed of reading this, about a young boy who is half Greek, half Jamaican, and he is brought up kind of not really knowing his identity or where he's placed in the world. He can never really find a group of people that he kind of fits in with until he goes off to university and finds the drag society, and I absolutely adored this book. It's written in verse, so it's so quick and easy to get through. Perfect for a readathon if you're one of those people who do like to read a lot during a readathon. And I just absolutely adored this book. It is so beautifully written. Dean Atta hits obviously some really, really important topics due to the nature of the main character and the topic of this book. And it's just beautiful. I highly, highly recommend it, and I don't think I talk about it enough on my channel, so that is another recommendation that you can take from me. The next book I want to recommend is R-Stop by Laura Jane Williams. One of mine and Em's kind of really mutual likings is Laura Jane Williams as an author. We absolutely love her books. This is the first book I read of hers because it is her debut novel, which came out early last year. This book basically follows two main characters, Nadia and Daniel, and they get the same train every day to work, 7:30 on the London Underground. So I absolutely love the fact that this was all about the London Underground. And there's a column in the newspaper called Miscommunication where people can write in about their like underground tube crushes. And one day Daniel writes in about Nadia, and a love story blossoms from there, and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. I actually listened to the audiobook of this. I haven't actually read the physical copy. I just brought the physical copy because I love the audiobook so much, and I do recommend listening to the audiobook. So if you're wanting a audiobook so you can read while doing other things that weekend, then this is a great option, and I do know that it's on Scribd, so if you have Scribd, a great recommendation for you there. And the last book I want to mention, because I recently did a readathon for one of my most anticipated releases of 2021, and that author is Lisa Williamson, and this is her debut book that I absolutely adore with all my heart, and I love it so much. This is The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. This basically follows a young boy who, when he asks in class to write what he wants to be when he grows up, everyone, all his classmates write, I want to be a footballer, I want to be a ballerina, I want to be a doctor. He writes, I want to be a girl. So you follow him as he kind of grows up and comes to terms with his sexuality and who he wants to be. And I think it's a beautifully written story, and I absolutely adore it. I've reread it a few times now and it never gets old, so I recommend that. If you're looking for something a little different by an author that you may not have heard of before, because I do think this author is very underhyped on BookTube. So those are all my recommendations. If you want to read any of those, I would absolutely love it, but let me know what you're planning to read or where you're going to get your recommendations from. But I think that's all I have to say in this video. If I've missed anything out, I'll leave all the information down in the description box below, as well as Em's channel and Em's video. But I'm just so excited. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the live reading sprints we're doing on Friday at 8 PM UK GMT, I think it is. I don't even know my own time zone. Yeah, but I'm so excited for this readathon. I'm not sure what I'm going to read yet. I might even get recommendations from you guys. So let me know down below kind of what you're planning on reading, and I might get some recommendations from you. Without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up. Subscribe down below to see more content from me. Comment if you're going to participate in this readathon. I would love to know. And without further ado, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.